Well, allegiances are the government's assets. The people have lost their allegiances in their own separate countries and governments because most people don't even realize that they are actually all working together with each other in order to implement the one world government. And that's simply because of the lack of knowledge and understanding of history and the very lack of intelligence and time and will to gather it in the first place. The education systems have literally been dumbing down society for decades and removing intelligence and independence from the natural-born human beings who once had the true definition of the very word independent as it is written in the dictionary. Unfortunately, people are actually fully captured and domesticated and hackable humans today on a massive level that most people don't even know how to conceptualize it in their own mind in the first place, let alone ever have the time or capability or capacity to be able to truly understand what I'm speaking to right now in a factual, data, evidence and documentation and historical proof that will be able to allow themselves to be able to see exactly what I'm speaking about. I have, for whatever reason, I have not figured out why me, but I'm very much aware that I have literally been given the opportunity and ability to fully understand and gather some of the most valuable information about this very moment in our lives right now, and in ways that I can not just put into text that will allow people to be able to understand fully. But I swear on everything that my life has been literally preparing me for this past 6 years in a way that I have a very real hard time accepting, let alone believe that it's happening in the way that it is, like years before the things that take place, and I have literally, in point of fact, capturing all of these little things in a video, screenshot or posting and documentation for years now that I have terabytes of data stored to literally back up everything that I have stated since as far back as 2016, all the way up till March 28th, 2020 when I made my first video calling what would take place 3 years before it reached the masses, as well as making videos consciously knowing that nobody is going to believe me unless I have the evidence of my voice, dates and times and says what is being said. I have quite frankly lost so many things in this past 3 years, and for reasons that I could have just ignored and avoided, but somehow, someway, something else is driving me to just sacrifice so many things because I already know that what is going to be left in the end result will be priceless and not able to be regrets for my future bloodlines that hopefully will be able to enjoy this world before it gets too late to bad, that it will be a battle just to want to be alive, let alone battle to be wise and not emotionally driven by all the sanctuaries things are no longer capable of existing in the real world and understanding and knowledge of the real world outside of all the easy and technology and other things that have helped to remove the very existence of our species and our values and traditions and principles and basic components of which only one who has experience with the very real world and natural world outside of all the modern life will be able to see and understand why it is so deeply important to remember but understand, truly independently internally understand where we came from to be able to know where we are going in the first place. EXCXD equals HH is not just some scientific data or mathematical equation that someone is trying to build or influence or create something out of. It's in point of fact, 100% factual and correct and true and provable with a tiny few bit of real life, basic elementary first principles, common sense and understanding of the real world and how it works regardless of what anyone believes or does not believe. It's unchanged and real and doesn't care if the human beings are alive in it, believe in it, know it or don't know it or don't want to see it. It will always be there with or without the human species. That's just the fact that nobody with a balanced brain can ever ignore. I wish I wasn't an introvert for most of my life, but something changed in 2020 that happened to me that I now know is real, and I ultimately don't want it to be that it is and that it took place. But I have no choice to, because it did, and now I'm almost certain that it is literally the very reason for my existence in the world at this point in time and history. I truly wish I could have someone similar to what Romilly or Joe Rogan sit down with me for a short time and allow me to present the very evidence that I have literally been given, collected, captured and sometimes sent to me in ways that I have a very real hard time even knowing why I have to be the one sent it. Just so maybe they can take this information and possibly present it to their own followers and to the masses in their own way that may be far more important and powerful to help everyone in the process and cycle that is essentially happening right now. I truly deeply believe that someday people will find everything that I have collected and created and look back at the world and say, holy shit, this person had such a dedication and truly humble but very accurate and basically brutally honest truth to what was happening during this time. Sometimes maybe too brutally honest, but unfortunately it is literally what happens to be the very honestly that has allowed me to become so modest and grateful for everything that I have literally suffered through most of my life by many different aspects and some even of my own fault. But that needed to happen exactly the way and time that it did, because otherwise I would not be able to be so close to being 100% accurate. Removing one single step from my life journey and nothing else exists for me to be able to be so aware that I can't unsee it now. I wish I could unsee it, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way unless you want to be a junkie or completely zombified walking talking oxygen thief. Looks like the only way to unsee it besides doing the cowardly and selfish lights out method. I hope that this resonates with at least someone who has the attention span and will to actually read it, especially when the attention span race to the bottom of the brain stem is so rampant right now. I hope maybe someone will be willing to give my thoughts a bit of their time to possibly be of help that, who knows, maybe might help save a lot of pain and suffering and stress in the roads ahead of us all, whether we like it or not, believe it or not, and accept it or not. Amen. God bless to you all, and bless you all, every single real world human, genuine souls of the world in every single human sphere of activity and English sorcery spelling labels, and whatever they want to believe in their own truly sovereign, truly independent, truly human nature, of which enables them true happiness and love, that no man or woman can grant or give or buy them with any foreign currency exchange or assets or fiat currency or any other materials or trade. Only you yourself can grant those prizes and principles to your own mind in the first place, since the beginning of time and now and forever, no matter what noises you make out of your mouth for the ear's hairs to receive, and then the brain waves to tell your conscious mind what is being said. Because of the software installed from the very womb up until around age 7, when the brain finally forms the ability of consciousness in the human body and mind in the process of any human being's brain since the beginning of human beings' existence. Truly, sincerely, and in solidarity, with love and respect and courage for all eternity, and for infinity to the moon and back times infinity. Tony James Dolsequa. Kerr. #TJ T Sweetwater. #TJ Dolsequa. #T Dolsequa. #TJ. #TJSWEETWATERWASRIGHT. Visit TJSWEETWATERS.org/never again is right now.
It's easy to just sit back on your sofa, munching on potato chips, while the world around you goes to hell. It's also just as easy to criticize those who have the courage to stand up and warn the people. What's not easy is saying the things that need to be said to a society so conditioned by lies that they don't even want to listen until it's too late. One thing is for sure, though. You can't say we didn't warn you. Everything that's going to be said here in this video by Russell Brand, somebody already said just 3 years before Russell is telling it to the world.
Awesome fact. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than 2/3 of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 million in profit in 2022. And may I just mention that finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. It's difficult not to...
But I will just add one thing. It is possible that these are greedy capitalists who made a lot of money.
All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
And how did you...
Awesome fact.
So, think about when they mentioned the V word across the consciousness of the United States. What date was this? Now ask yourself, how could have I made this video on March 28th, 2020, and not just know about the V word, but also know about forced Vs? Exactly. It's almost impossible, but not completely. Now, I had to use the words because I was obviously being censored. But everything Russell just said, how could I have said it before it happened? I am not a prophet. It is not impossible. It's very easy. All you need is time. and intelligence. And the only way you gather intelligence is by doing things. You don't gather education. You don't understand the difference between education and intelligence. People today think they're the same thing. Just like they think the definition of the word zombie means walking dead people, when that's the furthest thing from the definition. Now let's play some other facts.
Just figured I'd point this out. Saturday, March 28th, 2020 at 9:16 p.m. Once the herd accepts mandatory forcible vaccination, it's game over. They will accept anything, forcible blood and organ donations for the greater good. We can genetically modify children, sterilize them for the greater good. Control sheep minds, and you control the herd. Vaccine makers stand to make billions, and many of you in this room today are investors. It's a big win-win. Well then, out of the herd,
Thin the herd.
and the herd pays us for providing extermination services. Now what's for lunch? Henry Kissinger in the speech to the World Health Organization Council on Eugenics, February 25th, 2009. Posted that Saturday, March 28th, 2020, 9:16 p.m. And where are we today, people? Where are we today?
Shit. Now, after I just read what I read from Henry Kissinger, and because everybody's distracted and focusing on Soros and all the WEF people and everything, what they don't seem to understand is what I just read is what Russell literally just pointed out. So if I read it from Henry Kissinger, think about what he's saying right now and with whom he's saying it.
Thank you very much. Henry Kissinger has been a friend of mine. I've liked him, I've respected him, but we've been friends for a long time, long before my emergence in the world of politics.
We've been friends for a long before my emergence in the world of politics. I've respected him, I liked him, I've known him for a long time.
Which has not been too long, but we have been really in the, I guess you'd say, the New York seat a little bit, but we got to know each other very well. He's a man I have great respect for. He's also somebody, usually I say, have you ever been in the Oval Office? And with Henry Kissinger, I didn't bother asking that question because he has been in this office many times.
So he's been in the Oval Office many times. But have you elected him? Have you selected him? No. And here he is again. Via Trump.
But it's an honor to have Dr. Kissinger with us.
Oh, Dr. Kissinger, who, mind you, was alive when? Oh, the last time the humans, the domesticated, captured, hackable humans, repeated what we're repeating right now.
A man of immense talent and experience and knowledge, and I'm going to...
So a man of immense talent, experience, and knowledge. How much talent? The talent to pull off exactly what he's pulling off again, right now, because of his knowledge, which equals power.
Talk to him for a while, and we're going to learn a lot, but I can say from a world standpoint, and with many of the countries that Henry and I would talk about before the election, because I would talk with Henry before the election.
Because I would talk about all these countries before the election with Henry Kissinger.
We've made a lot of progress with many of them. We have some outstanding, and we'll handle that as we have to handle it. But we've made a lot of progress in the Middle East with ISIS and so many other things. It's a much calmer place. But Henry, I say often, I inherited a mess, but we're fixing it. So you may want to say something.
Now, how does one inherit something? What is the definition of the word inherit?
Thank you for being here, Henry. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I didn't expect this opportunity. It's always a great honor to be in this office. And I'm here at a moment when the opportunity to build a constructive, peaceful world order is very great.
Build a constructive, peaceful world order. A moment, an opportunity to build a constructive, peaceful world order is very great. And as soon as the words world order come out of his mouth, what does Trump do? He looks up and he nods his head yes. So, captured, domesticated, dumbed down, hackable humans who are like the rescued elephants that live in the sanctuary today, no longer capable of survival outside the false reality environment. That is what captured, domesticated animals do. Look up fleas in a jar experiment. Humans are no different, people. The Holocaust, the most modern society. People left America to go to school to become a doctor in Germany. It was the most modern society. And look, they did the same thing. Why? Because becoming modern is exactly what removes your natural born instincts and intelligence. You no longer live in the real world that enabled you to survive and be alive and evolve. Just like the elephants and all the other animals. Once they're captured and domesticated, they can't survive. They will die if we release them into the wild. Do you understand that? It's really this simple. Like literally this simple. Think about how many people that you know can literally live more than a week without power. Just based on the knowledge that they possess. Just look at what people do with toilet paper shortages. Water. Bottled plastic water. What they do. Do you understand? Humans are not smarter than nature. And nature, this world, will continue to exist without us. And the only living beings on this planet that have ever made anything else go extinct are the humans. The stupid lemming humans that are about to make themselves extinct. Distracted and helpless. Selfish, egotistical, and too concerned about shiny objects. So unfortunate.